Jalen Reagor wasn't able to really get over the hump, and he has struggled consistently in the city of Philadelphia. And let's be honest, Philadelphia is not an easy city to play for. Most players that come through the city don't last. It takes a special breed of player, a la Jason Kelsey or Brian Dawkins or Malcolm Jenkins, and I can go on and on. This city is not built for the faint of heart. And Jalen, a lot of people get on him about where he was drafted.
Good morning, NFC East. I am Jeff Kerr. It is Thursday, September 1st. Yes, it is September, which means it's football season. Penn State plays tonight. You got the backyard brawl, Pittsburgh, West Virginia. We got some college football, but you guys don't want to hear about college football. This is an NFL show. This is an NFC East show. So I'm Jeff Kerr, and I got my man Tone DeShields with me today. It's Tone Thursday. I'm not sure if I want to do Tone Tuesday or Tone Thursday yet. We're still in the works there. But Tone, how you feeling, my man?
Hey Jeff, I'm feeling really good. It's a beautiful morning in Philadelphia, and we have a lot to discuss, my man. A lot happened yesterday, and I'm ready to jump right into the deep water, man. Let's get it.
Well, to start, the Eagles got more than a bag of peanuts for Jalen Reagor. They got draft capital. They might get a fourth-round pick for Jalen Reagor. That's crazy based on playing time, of course, and we'll go through this right now. Jalen Reagor, gone. Eagles cut their ties with him. There's been talks about a trade for a couple days now. I think the Eagles wanted to get this done before the whole 53-man roster was finalized, but they couldn't. They still were able to get a deal done. So the Vikings get Jalen Reagor. The Eagles get back a 2023 seventh and a conditional 2024 fourth-round pick. Could be a fifth, depends on Jalen Reagor's playing time. But, Tone, just initial thoughts on Jalen Reagor being out of the Eagles after just 2 seasons.
It's unfortunate. I like to take it from the human perspective first. Jalen been through a lot. He lost a good friend. 2 good friends at that, in the past few years, lost his grandmother not too long ago. He's been through a lot as a person. So anybody, no matter what your profession is, you're going to be distracted. You're going to have things that you're worried about outside of the game. And it's going to be hard for you to be the best version of yourself. Now, some people, they wallow, and some people, they rise. And I'm not here to say he was either or, but from what we were able to see, Jalen Reagor wasn't able to really get over the hump, and he has struggled consistently in the city of Philadelphia. And let's be honest, Philadelphia is not an easy city to play for. Most players that come through this city don't last. It takes a special breed of player, a la Jason Kelsey or Brian Dawkins or Malcolm Jenkins, and I can go on and on. This city is not built for the faint of heart. And Jalen, a lot of people get on him about where he was drafted. He didn't draft himself. A lot of people get on him being drafted in front of Justin Jefferson. Again, he didn't draft himself. Most of the things you get mad at him about, he's not culpable for that, except for his play. Howie Roseman is responsible for bringing Jalen Reagor into this building. So honestly, Howie Roseman needs to wear this. I know a lot of people are running around the city as if this is a victory lap, but in reality, this is a sign of a failure. Not that Jalen Reagor is a failure, but this decision was a failure. This move, this investment was a failure. And we had to essentially barter him for a 7th-round pick and a conditional 4th. Am I right, Jeff?
Yep, conditional 4th, which could be a 5th. I mean, you got something for the guy. I want to add on to this. I actually love how the Eagles just basically wiped the 2020 season from our existence. They just took that infinity gauntlet, snap, gone. That COVID season was an absolute disaster. From Carson Wentz wanted out. They drafted Jalen Reagor to give Carson Wentz a weapon. They wanted a more vertical offense. Jalen Reagor never provided that. And I agree with you, Tone. It's not Jalen Reagor's fault he was picked over Justin Jefferson. My downfall with Jalen Reagor was he paid attention to what Jeff Kerr said, what Tone DeShields said, what John McMullen said, what Rob Ellis said, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, you name it. He cared about what we said, and he blocked us on Twitter for it.
Care about too much.
Too much. And you know what? I don't care. Athletes want to do that. That's fine. I always liked Jalen Reagor. Thought he was a good guy, but I think that's every battle right now with young people. They just care about what everybody thinks about them, and good or bad. And unfortunately, I think Jalen Reagor had some growing up to do in that regard. But again, it's like you said, Tone. He's been through a lot too. When you lose your best friend in Jeff Gladney the way he did, lost your grandmother, and again, like I'm sure there were a lot of expectations on him. His dad was an NFL player, a good NFL player for a lot of years. Monte Reagor, good guy too, by the way. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations there, and I like now how he gets a fresh start. I really do. I like how he gets a fresh start in Minnesota, gets a chance to build his own narrative, build his own career outside of Philadelphia. I like Jalen Reagor a lot. I hope he does well there. But man, now you got to face the demon of playing with the guy who was taken after you. And I know Rick Spielman's not in Minnesota anymore, and I work with Rick Spielman now at CBS. But it's still kind of hilarious how the Vikings just laughed in the Eagles' face when that video came out.
Jeff, it's so funny. Well, not funny. It's actually crazy to me because he can't seem to get away from those demons. He couldn't get away from the Philly demon. The moment he gets away from the Philly demon, now he's being chased by his counterpart, the Justin Jefferson demon. He's running away from ghosts, and his ghosts keep finding him no matter where he is. And let's be honest, he got traded to an offense that is that's wide receiver friendly. It's a high volume offense, and he's going to be the fourth, maybe third option on that team, barring injury. Adam Thielen has struggled to stay healthy these past couple seasons, so you never know what may happen. But I think it's ironic that he's been paired with Justin Jefferson, a guy that he's been compared to his entire career. And I don't know if that's better for his growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people think just the change of scenery would be great. I agree with that. Change of scenery was necessary. But for him to go to the team, for him to be in the wide receiver room of the player that his career has constantly been compared to, how do you get away from that? How do you really find a fresh start when the old is still following you?
And what's funny about this too, Tone, adding on. Think about this. Justin Jefferson says pretty much he's going to make the Eagles pay for passing on him. I think he's going to make every team pay for pass. But I think Justin Jefferson thought for sure he was going to be a Philadelphia Eagle when it was his turn. And I think he was just like, wait, what? Like, this guy got taken over me? I think he could live with the Henry Ruggses, the Jerry Judys being taken over him, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I'm sure he knows he's better than them, but when you're feeling out the draft board, but I'm sure you and me are like this too in a lot of aspects, Tone. Like, wait, this person's better than me? Seriously? And I think that's how Justin Jefferson decided to live his career, and it's worked out really well for him. But you're right. Like, Jalen Reagor can't exercise those demons. And, yeah, he's going to be a fourth there. It's KJ Osborne's there, and Thielen again, depending on he stays healthy, Justin Jefferson. But like you said, it's a high-volume offense. It's a good opportunity for him. He has an opportunity to kind of rewrite the script. And I'm not saying he's going to be like this all-pro or anything like that, but and if you can get like 30 catches for like 500 yards out of Jalen Reagor if you're Minnesota, I think you would take that. But overall, I just got to give Howie Roseman a ton of credit here. And I got to add on to that. Yeah, I got to add on to this. The Dallas Cowboys got a 2022 fifth and a swap of 2022 sixth-round picks for Amari Cooper, who is 1,000 times better than Jalen Reagor.
When you put it in perspective that way, it makes it seem like Howie Roseman made out like a bandit, and that's what I continue to tell people. Howie Roseman is probably your top 5 GM in this NFL. Say what you want about him. I understand he's not the best.
I go top 10, but it's not a stretch to say top 5. It's not.
Yeah. Now, granted, he's not the best talent evaluator. I'll give people that. But these past couple drafts, he, for the most part, hasn't been missing. All his draft picks have been able to contribute, especially last year. Devontae Smith, Kenny Gainwell, Landon Dickerson. He had a straggler from, previous drafts. Quez Watkins, I think, was that 2020 draft, right, with Reagor? Something like that.
So crazy. Like you miss on Reagor, but then you get a guy in Quez Watkins. And that 2020 draft, you might have found your franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts, depending on what he does this year. And you might have a solid contributor in Quez Watkins. So it wasn't exactly terrible. I know he put the Infinity Gauntlet on a lot of these picks. Davion Taylor just got waived too. So the bad picks are wrong. Yeah. well, this is funny, and I'd love to ask Ed Kratz about this, like what happened, because when I was at camp early, David Taylor looked good, and then all of a sudden he was bad in the preseason games. And Ed was at the joint practices. I'm curious to hear. We're gonna have Ed on at 7:20. I wanted to get to this too. How do you feel about Jason Peters in the Cowboys uniform?
This is a two-part thing for me. Part of me is saying, well, he's a professional. You got to make that money somehow. He loves the game. Whoever wants to give me a chance, hey, I'll take it. But the pride in me is saying, how could you even consider a role like that? Isn't there any other team looking for a left tackle or a rotational left tackle? You know what I mean? I'm just having a hard time. I'm wrestling with it. My fandom tells me, come on, Jason Peters. You're going to retire an Eagle. You're a Super Bowl champion. But the cynical version of me, the pragmatic version of me is, hey, everyone needs a job. But at the same time, all money ain't good money.
It is true. Now, I will say this, though. The toughest thing for me growing up was, again, grew up an Eagles fan. Randall Cunningham was the first quarterback I remember. Now, this is toward the tail end of his career. Like, he got benched for Rodney Peete in 95, the first year I really remember watching them. Randall Cunningham, pretty much, he didn't end his career with the Cowboys, but toward the end of his career, he started for the Cowboys. And man, was it weird watching him in the Cowboys uniform at the vet play against the Eagles in a big game. It just was. And it's going to feel like that with Jason Peters for a lot of Eagles fans around here. I don't care. You want to go break your bread, go make an extra million, go ahead. Here's the irony, Tom. He might be their best left tackle if they sign him, because we don't know what Tyler Smith's going to do. He might be. He was ranked in the top 25 in Pro Football Focus last year amongst left. No, not even amongst left. Yeah, he was a top 25 tackle, left or right, in football last year. He actually did not have a bad year for the Bears. The Bears' offensive line just sucked.
Did he play the entire season?
He played 15 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I completely lost track of his career. I knew he was playing for the Bears, but I didn't know, how he was being used, if it was a rotational guy. I just
in 2020, and I think that's how we remember him, because he didn't come back. Remember, he was going to play left guard, and then again, that is one of the moments in the NFL I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when who's going to be their left tackle? Oh, Andre Dillard. Andre Dillard got hurt in 2020. Jason Peters is going to be the left guard. Remember, the Eagles brought him back to be a left guard. I would love to be Jason Peters. Just watch Jason Peters go into that office when the Eagles asked him to switch back and just demand a pay raise, because he was smiling.
Of course. Left tackles get paid more than guards.
Oh, yeah, and this is before the Eagles knew, like, Jordan Mailata was going to be Jordan Mailata. Like, exactly. There was a lot of hope there, but you know what? I'll blame Jason Peters. It seemed like he was looking for an opportunity to start on a contending team. And let's be real here. Dallas is probably going to be a playoff team this year, regardless of their offensive line situation. So it's an opportunity for him. It's going to be weird. And honestly, it probably does help the Cowboys in the long run, because then Tyler Smith could play left guard where they want him to play. But I think it's a good challenge for Tyler Smith. But again, Jerry Jones said Tyler Smith's going to be the left tackle. Connor McGovern's going to be the left guard. That's how it's looking right now.
But you know what they say? It's not about what they say. It's about what they do. And if Jason Peters is in the building visiting, how much do they believe in Tyler Smith?
Exactly. And we just saw this. Who's the guy who made the quote? Oh, Kyle Shanahan, Trey Sermon. Oh, he had this great camp. Yeah, we really believe in him. They cut him. So don't give me that. It's like you said. It's what they do behind the scenes. And they're bringing in Jason Peters. Like, why not Eric Fisher? But then again, when I looked at it, Jason Peters had a better year last year than Eric Fisher did. So I think they're looking at it as, okay, this guy wants a paycheck. If this guy impresses, he can still play. I don't have an issue with that. And it's going to be weird, but again, it's going to be weird for Eagles fans. Overall, though, this is great content for this show.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. The whole Jalen Reagor situation, Jason Peters potentially playing for the Cowboys. At the end of the day, the NFC East is one of the most talked about divisions. Say what you want about the teams. There are only a couple divisions in this NFL that actually move the news cycle. And that's the NFC East And you can make an argument that it's either the AFC North or the AFC West. Not too many divisions actually move the needle like the NFC East, though.
The AFC North is going to be moving the needle no matter what happens with Lamar. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Will Lamar sign a contract? Will he not? Yeah, it's like you said, the AFC West. It's so getting a little off topic here, but do you know they did like a panel of writers to pick the winner of the AFC West, and no one picked the Raiders? No one did.
Really?
And the one guy just said, I think he was, I forget, I want to say he was a Broncos beat writer, and he said, I'm sorry, I just can't pick against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, I mean, that division is, look, I honestly anticipate the Chiefs to take a bit of a step back because they lost Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill is a game breaker. I understand Travis Kelce.
I don't, because I've watched my fair share of Chiefs games over the years. I'm telling you, Patrick Mahomes is going to be better without him. It's weird.
Really? You might be onto something. You might be onto something because Patrick Mahomes is in this point of his career where he's beginning to not rely so much on the big plays. He's been taught now to really accept, take the check downs and really nickel and dime you to death. And I think that's where quarterbacks really start to mature, when you start to see them really utilizing the entire field and being able to surgically dismantle the opponent.
Which is great for the NFC East, by the way. They don't have to face the AFC West this year. That's not the division.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of the teams in this division are going to have better records. Like, that's why I think the Washington Commanders have shot the playoffs. So sometimes you just got to look at the schedule and the teams you're facing. And I think that plays a big role now. Obviously, what happens on the football field, but the Eagles aren't playing the Chiefs this year. Remember, when the Eagles were struggling at the beginning of the year, they were playing the Raiders, who ended up being a playoff team. The Chargers were pretty much a bonehead Brandon Staley decision away from being a playoff team. The Chiefs were an AFC Championship team. That division was good last year. Now you're facing, again, see, this is where I lose my train of thought here. I forget what division the Eagles are facing. Oh, the AFC South. The AFC South, that's right.
Right.
But again, the AFC South is not the AFC West. You get to face the Texans. You get to face the Titans.
The Jags,
Yeah, the Jaguars. Like, Jaguars are going to be better, but – and again, the Dallas Cowboys will face the same thing. So, yeah, I think that's why the NFC East is going to be in pretty good shape this year.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, backstage, we have our guy Ed Cracks in the building.
Ed, welcome to the show, my friend. We'll get you on right after the break here. Remember to hit that like button, comment on the show in the comment section here. Good Morning NFC East with Jeff Kerr and Tone. Once again, I appreciate you for this first segment, my friend.
All right, no problem, man. Listen, you guys, we'll be back after this break. We'll see you guys in a bit.